Welcome to What If History, the podcast where we pull the threads of the past to imagine a world that could have been. I'm Colin Holmes, your guide through the swirling mists of alternate timelines and untold possibilities. Today, we're diving into one of history's most pivotal moments. What if Julius Caesar had survived the Ides of March that fateful day in 44 BCE? Picture him on the Senate floor, bleeding from shallow wounds. His assailants, stunned that their knives haven't done enough, scatter as his loyal guards storm the chamber. That single twist of fate, Caesar's survival, remakes Rome in an instant. Revenge comes quickly. The conspirators, once hailed as defenders of the Republic, are either captured or flee into the shadows of the city. Word spreads through the streets. Caesar yet lives. The crowd seethes, demanding heads for this treachery. In the days that follow, those who opposed him meet execution or exile. Gaius Cassius and Marcus Brutus, if they escape, become fugitives with prices on their heads. Fear grows in the Senate, a deep-rooted dread that the dictator they tried to crush now stands more powerful than ever. Wounded pride and paranoia drive Caesar to tighten his grip on Rome. His earlier magnanimity, the famed Clementia Caesaris, fades in the wake of betrayal. Though he still offers the public face of a merciful victor, privately he vows never to let the Senate forget who controls the city. The body that once dictated Roman law is reduced to a chamber of trembling senators, too terrified to question him. Over days and weeks, Caesar consolidates authority, appointing new magistrates from among his staunchest supporters. He structures a bureaucracy that answers only to him. The Republic's final vestiges crumble under the fear in every senator's heart. Mark Antony becomes Caesar's most relentless enforcer, stamping out dissent before it grows. He trails rumors like a bloodhound, ensuring no fresh conspiracy can blossom. Publicly, Caesar frames Antony as a loyal commander and statesman, a figure to keep Rome safe. Privately, he makes it clear Antony is the scythe to cut down any who step out of line. Meanwhile, across the sea in Egypt, Cleopatra tightens her own hold on power, emboldened by Caesar's survival. Their relationship deepens. She visits Rome frequently, stirring scandal among the aristocracy, who hiss at the notion of a foreign queen whispering in the dictator's ear. The young Octavian, Caesar's designated heir, observes all of this from a distance. With Caesar alive, Octavian's rise is no longer thrust upon him by tragedy. Instead, he becomes an understudy to Caesar's rule, learning political survival the hard way. He sits through council meetings, sees how Caesar navigates old Roman traditions while methodically dismantling them, and learns to mask ambition behind a facade of loyal service. Had Caesar died, Octavian would have inherited power prematurely, forced to scramble. Instead, he bides his time under Caesar's constant gaze, grasping how to rule not by Senate decree, but by fear and reward. With Rome secured, Caesar sets his sights on avenging Crassus's defeat at Carrhae. Plans for a campaign against Parthia, cut short by assassination in our timeline, now surge forward. Caesar marshals the legions with ruthless efficiency, pulling veteran forces from Gaul and newly recruited soldiers from Italy. The Senate, cowed and desperate for any sign of normalcy, votes to fund the expedition. Beyond the Euphrates, Caesar's legions clash with Parthian horse archers. Skirmishes grow brutal, and prisoners are subjected to gruesome displays of Roman discipline. Yet Caesar pushes deeper, determined to plant Roman standards where they once fell. Victories pile up and client kings bend the knee, flooding Rome with exotic riches. Veterans return home with new scars, chanting Caesar's name, solidifying his legend as the man who righted one of Rome's greatest humiliations. Emboldened by triumph, Caesar next turns north. He refuses to let the Germans remain a threat across the Rhine. He orders fresh legions into the forests, burning and subjugating tribes that resist. The cost in Roman lives climbs, but each scalp, each captured chieftain, becomes another trophy. Caesar's relentless expansion triggers grumbles among military commanders who question his thirst for conquest. Still, none dare speak openly, not after he survived the blades meant to put him in the ground. By the time he returns to Rome, Caesar is more warlord than consul, a living monument to victory. Domestically, he intensifies reforms that had already begun under his dictatorship, redistributing land, enlarging the citizen base, and tightening control over the provinces. He extends certain rights to non-Italian allies more generously, banking on their gratitude to lock in loyalty. Grain is imported en masse to feed the swelling populace. Gladiatorial games, lavish feasts, and public works projects distract the masses from the suffocating grip Caesar has on every civic institution. The Senate, once the backbone of Roman governance, is a hollow shell that rubber stamps his decrees. By the end of his life, Rome is Caesar's playground, molded into a monarchy without the official title of king. The transition from republic to empire happens faster, and it happens under his watch, not under Augustus's. Octavian remains in the background until Caesar names him as successor. No triumvirates, no civil wars, no chaotic scramble for power. The founding stones of an imperial system are laid out clearly, with Caesar at the center. The shockwaves of his survival ripple through time. Egypt, tied more closely to Rome, becomes an even deeper reservoir of political influence and cultural exchange. Parthia, weakened earlier, offers less resistance to subsequent Roman incursion. Germanic frontiers shift, potentially pushing Rome's boundaries further and faster than in our reality. Inside Rome, the Senate becomes little more than an echo chamber, chanting Caesar's name. When he finally dies, peacefully or otherwise, no one doubts that Rome is an empire in all but name. That single moment on the Senate floor, those trembling hands failing to finish the job, would have unleashed a Roman future under Julius Caesar's iron fist. A future where one man's survival kills the Republic years before Augustus was ever forced to do it himself. A future where the fate of the ancient world bends to the will of the man who refused to die on the Ides of March. Thanks for joining us on What If History. If you enjoyed this journey into an alternate past, don't forget to subscribe and share. I'm Colin Holmes, and I'll see you next time as we unravel another thread in the great tapestry of history.